Brian Wilson, Mary Catherine Ham, Brian Neiman, today's newsmakers, and you, the Morning Majority. 105.9 FM, AM 630. WMAL.
8:07 on the Morning Majority. Brian Wilson here with Brian Neiman, Mary Catherine Ham. And, you know, we've been following very closely this Fast and Furious story, the troubled program that allowed weapons to walk into Mexico. One of those weapons later found to be involved in the death of Agent Brian Terry. Senator Chuck Grassley has been someone who has been asking a lot of questions of Eric Holder. Yesterday, Eric Holder sort of said that mistakes had been made in this program.
This operation was flawed in its concept and flawed in its execution. And unfortunately, we will feel the effects for years to come.
And he went a step further.
This should never have happened, and it must never happen again.
Senator Chuck Grassley's on the phone with us now to talk about what he learned at yesterday's hearing. Senator, you heard what the Attorney General had to say. The question is, what did he know? When did he know it? Did you get any answers that answered those questions?
No, we don't have anything very definitive. In fact, he did clarify that probably he knew it a few longer period of time before the few weeks that he talked about on May the 3rd, but he finally ended up saying that he didn't know anything about it until it became public information, which means he got the information through the press, which tells you one of two things. Either he is incompetent or he's not being served well by his staff, because we know that people high up in the Justice Department, at least in the middle of 2010, knew about it and were talking about it, and we got emails to prove it. And
right.
We know that reports went to Holder, which yesterday he said he didn't read, so that's why he didn't know about it last summer. And you get all this sort of obfuscation, and it makes you wonder whether or not we're getting the truth.
One of the key players in the staff is a guy named Gary Grindler, who is currently the Attorney General's Chief of Staff. Talk about his role in this as we know it.
Well, I put up documents yesterday on blown-up documents for the Attorney General to see that indicated that while they were being investigating and asking questions about a previous gun-running scheme, that they should have known and did know about Fast and Furious, and that happened early in 2010 as well. And so if Grindler, who then was acting Deputy Attorney General, knew about it, how come the Attorney General didn't know about it? But the Attorney General told me yesterday that Mr. Grindler never talked to him about these issues, which brings up the issue then, is he being served well by his deputies, or is he not telling the truth?
One of the senators gave the Attorney General, Eric Holder, a chance to apologize to the family of the border agent who was killed, and he didn't do it. Are you upset about that? Should Eric Holder apologize?
I think it's unconscionable. If you're a humanitarian, you would have said, yes, not only I regret it, but I apologize to the family for it. And I don't see any reason. It would have been just the most simple thing to do to say, I do apologize to the family. But he went on for 3 or 4 sentences using the verb regret. Why wouldn't it have been just as well to say, I apologize?
I find it curious. Do you think why? Is there reasoning, do you think? Is there a legal reasoning why he wouldn't say he apologizes to the family?
I don't understand any legal reason. I'm not a lawyer,
right.
But I don't sense anything. There was a little bit of indication on a TV program I was watching last night that there may have been a legal reason why he didn't say I apologize, but no. What's going to cause you legal trouble if you apologize to somebody?
Senator, I wonder what you think of the attempts by some, including Dianne Feinstein, to sort of redirect the conversation. She says yes, there were mistakes made, but the hunt for blame here doesn't really speak to the problem. The real problem is that the assault weapons ban hasn't been reenacted.
Well, I think she ought to be careful, because a lot of people believe there's a conspiracy to have Fast and Furious to get a lot of guns across the border to give us an excuse to have more gun control. But I think that they want to use it as an excuse. The Attorney General seemed to play into it. Last week, Assistant Attorney General Brewer kind of argued the same way, that we need more gun control laws. But you get back to the basics. Guns don't kill, people kill. And the government is going to be responsible for a lot of laws being broken as a result of this, quite frankly, because, the government did this. Mm-hmm. I think on this issue we want to be very clear. The bottom line is that it doesn't matter how many laws we pass if those responsible for enforcing those laws refuse to do their duty. And that was the case with Fast and Furious, and I think Senator Feinstein ought to understand that.
Bottom line, have you lost confidence in Eric Holder?
The more information I get that he should have known more about it and done more about it sooner, or else he's not really in charge, it causes me to lose confidence, but not enough to call for his resignation yet, because my position, I think I've stated on your program before, is that I want the head to roll of the highest person in government that okayed this program to go. Now, if that's Eric Holder, then Eric Holder has to resign. If that's somebody else in the department, then they have to resign. If it's somebody in the White House, obviously you're not going to get the president to resign, but somebody got to be held responsible, because if heads don't roll in our government, cultures don't change.
Do you still feel like you're being stonewalled by the Attorney General, or at least by the Department of Justice somewhere?
Yeah, and let me tell you just one example. Not only being stonewalled, but we're also in a position where they answer my letters on February the 4th that I had delivered to him on January the 31st, saying that there wasn't anything about Fast and Furious, and all the whistleblowers were all wrong.
Yeah.
A couple weeks later, we wrote back to them, sent them some documents showing where their letters were false, and we got answers to that saying that the whistleblowers are wrong. And it wasn't until last week that Lanny Brewer came to our committee and said that the February 4th letters had lies in them.
All right, Senator Grassley, thanks for coming on and updating us on the story, and we'd love to check back in with you sometime down the road. We always appreciate you coming on.
Goodbye, Brian, and Mary Catherine.
All right, thank you, Senator.